Warm greetings. I'm going to try this again. This is Big Ann. Sorry about the confusion. Um, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, where I am, this area is just really not good. The Wi-Fi. I'm going to go ahead and continue this live if I can. I have to find another device to do this on. Basically, I brought you information in the last live. I'm going to have to delete that one and just ad lib here. Most of you who followed the content, I brought you information with the post pertaining to Trevor Gernon's apology. Where I have the problem with this information with him apologizing is this. No sane person would have left their children with a person that used narcotics. You use narcotics, Mr. Trevor. That is the reason why you're in the trouble that you're in. Your girlfriend used narcotics. It is alleging also that your baby mama used narcotics. Why this woman didn't raise her kids, the baby mother, I don't know what you two had going on, but I just find it strange that you're apologizing. For what exactly? You're an addict. She's an addict. Allegedly, your baby mother's gotten her life together. You understand why she is upset with you, she and her mother. But the thing is, you made a terrible mistake by leaving those kids with Miss Sherrod because now one's gone and tragically gone. And you sit here and you say, this choice I made with best intentions has resulted in the most horrific outcome. I have paid the ultimate and painful price for my poor judgment. I have to live with this every day. I will never forgive myself. This is a nightmare. But see, I don't think that you really have any remorse. You're talking about you can't mourn your kid because you're fearing for your safety. If you have to go to jail, well, that was the whole purpose of you abandoning your children, correct? Because you didn't want to go to jail. I don't even think you wanted to go to rehab. I don't think you want help. Because you see, if you wanted help, you would have sought help a long time ago. You left your children with Mr. Rod because you did not want to go to jail on some BS that you got yourself into. That's the bottom line. And maybe she appears to be a nice person to you, but she obviously, as they call a tweaker, geeker, that's obvious in the Daily Mail interview when they went to the house to watch, talk, see the rooms where the children live. She was geeked up then, eyes bulging out of her damn head. This is nonsense to me. You're selfish. You're not worried about mourning anybody, mourning your kid, because all you cared about was talking about yourself, not going to jail. Who gives a damn? Did you see, had you cared more about yourself, you would have never caught a charge in the first place. And Mr. Rod has several felonies dating back to 2012. That's a lady you thought should be raising your children, being alone with your children, keeping your children, rearing your children, even if you hadn't gone to jail. Because it looks like she's been still getting high as of last week. Everyone has seen that video that's paying attention to the story. Why did you leave your kids with her? Now you want to apologize. Why are you going to YouTube? Why can't you make a public statement to the news? I'm sick of you people always going to YouTube, Facebook to tell the world your damn problems, to apologize, to give a statement. Social media is not the place for a statement. Go to the local news and say, hey, I messed up. Hey, I made a mistake. Whether we believe it or not, care or not, that's the appropriate place to give a public statement pertaining to a missing person and a death of someone. Not YouTube, not somebody's YouTube channel, not Facebook. And the fact that you're still on the run shows me that you don't care about yourself. You don't care about your children, the remaining children you have, child you have. Because you see, if you really cared about yourself and doing the right thing, you turn yourself in and pay the piper so you can salvage some type of relationship with your last child. You can't even do that. As I stated to you all earlier, the information I brought to you was incorrect about the weapon that was found with the tissue and the droplets and a pocket knife. That was found in Mr. Darryinn Brown's home before his arrest last weekend, not Miss Sherrod's. A lot of innuendos, hype, gossip, rhetoric, narratives, people thinking this and that. Hello, Crystal. How you doing? Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for tuning back. Sorry about the mishap earlier. But this is a riveting case. It is a sad case. But this apology doesn't mean anything to me. It's a day late, dollar short, in my opinion. The fact that you're saying you took the kids there so they could have other kids to play with. Well, the kids are twins. They had each other to play with. And like I said, I don't understand why a woman would drop her kids off allegedly to your grandmother's house and you had just got out of jail. That tells me a lot. Like I said, maybe she was overwhelmed, the baby's mother, but it wasn't the right thing to do if indeed it went down that way. What is the relationship between you and the baby's mother beforehand that led to all this shenanigans? Why are you still going to jail anyway and you're grown? Did she get fed up with life and said, hell, I've been taking care of these kids, I'm tired? She dropped them off at your grandmother's house after you got out of jail. Then you were stuck with the kids, didn't know what to do. You couldn't keep a house, a home, a car, a job, perhaps. Allegedly, you did construction. But when you moved in with Mr. Rod, you didn't have what? You didn't have a place. So you were stuck raising your kids because mommy took off. Baby mama took off to do her own damn thing. Now everybody's crying wolf over a dead baby. But that's what happens. Bad decisions indeed. Is it true that all of you got high? Did you get high with the baby's mother? Is that the problem? Then she went her separate way. She decided to get a life for herself. You were stuck with your two kids. You hooked up with Miss Sherrod. You all are from the what, Houston area? Were you two geeking when you met each other? Possibly. She already had kids, didn't need kids. And there's no way you can tell me that you didn't know that Miss Sherrod had problems with CPS, because that's been revealed in the last article I brought in my live that ended. Her children were taken away from her before, so she didn't have any business with no other children, her own or yours. And there's no way I'm going to think you didn't know that. So you left your kids with a woman who's had issues with CPS. What were those issues? Yes. See, the cat's coming out now. Bones and skeletons are coming out of the closet. Miss Sherrod has been a busy bee. 5 prior felonies with the possession of controlled substance. And you thought this is somebody that should be rearing your kids? Lost custody of her children beforehand. And now 2 of those children are now in state's custody. So you see how all this turned out? A bigger mess besides the death of your child. You say you want to grieve, but you can't because you fear going to jail thinking what? Somebody's going to do something to you? Well, that may happen. But see, you were a coward in the beginning. That's why you're not in jail, right? Because you left your kids for the fear of a charge, which led to this guy allegedly kidnapping your kid and possibly killing your kid if indeed Darryinn Brown did murder your son, Cash. Do you know Darryinn Brown? Stop going to social media sites to give a statement. It's callous and it's low rent. Paid sites, YouTube, Facebook is not the place to air out your grievances and your dirty laundry. You want to make a public apology to your wife or your ex-baby mama, whomever she is to you, to the world. Should have went to the news. Could have called and had a news interview over the phone. That would have been suffice. And whether we like you, don't like you, believe you, that would have been the appropriate way to apologize to the baby's mother. Where is Carter? Is he in CPS custody or indeed with Miss Connie Ward? I doubt that he's with the mother because she drives trucks. How's she going to take care of a child? No way she could. As I say, a weapon was retrieved that they do believe possibly could be the weapon at Mr. Brown's house. Pocket knife, tissue, small drops of blood. Is indeed this the weapon? Who is Darryinn Brown? Who is he to these people? This apology, once again, is it real or fake? Children with drug addicts. Not a great place for a child at all. Is this an act of revenge? This child being murdered on behalf of Darryinn Brown? Is he mad about something? Is it drug related? Is it jealousy? Jealousy from one of the children? Did they kill the baby? Mad because they were getting too much attention, the twins. Who else is involved in this crime from the Sherrod household? Are the children involved in some way? Could all of them play a part in getting rid of the child? As Miss Brown said, the mother of Darryinn Brown, she believes that somebody carried the child to his final resting place. I believe that. I already said that. Darryinn Brown didn't walk with that baby 8 blocks. Darryinn Brown didn't carry that baby in a tub, his back, skateboard, radio fire wagon, big wheel. So how did he get the baby out of the house? Where did he kill the baby? And how did he get the baby to that location where the child was dropped off? I tell you all to stay woke. Everything you need to know is the beginning of the story. Why was this baby killed? Who is Darryinn Brown? Is he a creeper, petty thief, peeping through wooded fences? Video has been released of him, a color video of him peeping through a neighbor's fence, that neighbor's Miss Sherrod's house. Why was he peeping? Did something scare him off? Was he about to go into that yard to cross over to her house? Why was he so fascinated with these people in this street, Miss Sherrod and or this neighborhood? As I state, has he been following these people, talking to these people, dealing with these people, hanging in their house, spending the night? What was going on with Mr. Darryinn Brown and Miss Sherrod? What's their relationship between them? Who is Darryinn Brown? Peeper, creeper. What other crimes has he committed? Naturally, when you're under the age of 18, all records are sealed. So what has he done? Has he done anything felonious with children? Rape, sodomy, child molestation, theft, robbery. What has he done? Who is Darryinn Brown? Mommy says he wouldn't do this type of thing. Somebody else is involved from that house, is what she said. Those sick people. How long has Darryinn Brown known Mr. Rod? What is the real truth? Why the changes of stories pertaining to who knows whom? Different versions of didn't know him. Went to school but didn't know him. That's Cameron's version. Random crime. But yet we found out he was at the house days before, Darryinn Brown. Why are the neighbors allegedly complaining about him being a problem? What did you all do to alleviate the problem? Obviously nothing. Did you call the police? Did you show cameras months ago that he was doing things 10 weeks ago? Maybe perhaps the child would be alive had you all done something. How does the mom and stepdad feel about the video of him taking the child out of the said house? How do they feel? What else do they know about this child's behavior that they're not revealing to the public? How do they feel about the video now of him creeping around Mr. Alvarado's fence? As they say, the camera doesn't lie. What has he been stealing from people's homes, cars? Why is he breaking in people's homes, cars? Just antsy kid, bored, nothing to do, not being watched, not being monitored? Let his mother tell it. He was home all weekend on the night the child went missing. Murder. Cash Gernon. Is he really ill? Or does he know what he's doing? Is Darryinn Brown mentally stable and knows what he's been doing as far as breaking and entering, stealing from people, bashing other people's properties? What's that all about? Rumors of molestation on Facebook. The child was being molested. This is information coming from Miss Sherrod's father. Why he's saying these nasty things is a mystery to me. Who is molesting whom? Who was molesting Cash Carter allegedly? And Cash Gernon, excuse me. Who was molesting him? Someone in the house or Darryinn Brown? And if you had this information, Grandpa, Why are you sitting on it and not notifying the said authorities? So see, you a fool too. Why Cash, Gernon, and not Carter? Some of you believe Darryinn doubled back that morning to get him, but as you see, he looked at him, touched him, and walked out. If he wanted him, he could have gotten him. If indeed Cash was allegedly molested, how long was it going on? How many people knew? How many people are involved? Who all was molesting him? The children in the house? Cameron, the other children? The mother? Was she molesting him? Miss Sherrod? Darryinn? Was he molesting him? Was Darryinn used as a scapegoat, a ploy, lure him in to be walking in front of the camera? But the deed was already done. Rumors that the child was already dead in the bed. As I said, now you want me to believe that Darryinn picked up a dead baby out of the bed and took the baby out of the house and disposed of the baby 8 blocks or so down the road. As I told you, how did he do it? How in the world would he have carried a child, alive or dead, 8 blocks down the road? Once again, why Cash Gernon? Is it a matter of process of elimination? Somebody was touching him, allegedly. We got to get rid of the baby. He's going to talk. He's going to tell. Was there damage done to him, perhaps, to where it would be leaked out? Has CPS been involved at Miss Sherrod's house recently? Is that another reason to get rid of the kid? Cash Gernon. Has CPS been nosing around her house? Because they did take her 2 children. Why is that? Should Trevor Gernon be charged with aiding in the death of Cash Gernon? Because he did indeed leave his child there. So it is child abandonment. You never came back to see about your children, to see if they needed anything, food, clothes, toiletries. You checked out because you were worried about yourself. You're more concerned about yourself. Now you play possum saying you can't even mourn for the fear of your safety. Well, you didn't care about anything, your children or your own damn self, when you took off and ran because of some BS you got yourself wrapped into. Now you want to say you can't mourn because what? You worried about going to jail and getting beat up? You might get beat up just on the street alone, sneaking around, hiding from the authorities. Stay woke. Trevor, you abandon your children. You should be charged with a crime. You should be charged with abandoning your children and leaving your children in a dangerous environment with a dope fiend. Because you're a dope fiend. Dope fiends attract dope fiends. Shut up, Queen. Dope fiends attract dope fiends. Like minds attract like minds. Birds of a feather flock together. What is the history of the baby mama and Trevor? What's really been going on with these two? Will the situation get rectified now with one child left? Will Trevor straighten his act up so he can be a father to the last child? Where is the last child? Who is he staying with? Or is he in state's care? How long has everybody been getting high? I wondered that. Because it looks like Miss Sherrod was geeked up in that Daily Mail tour of the house. Eyes bulging out. She was high. I watched it again last night. She was geeked up. And as I state, her records date back to felony records 2012. As I said, people make mistakes. People can change if they want to. But from her last video from last week, she looks high. So I doubt that she's changed. So that means she's been raising her own children, plus the twins, high as a kite. And I don't know how Mr. Trevor thought she was a decent person to leave his children in her peripheral. And I believe he would have stayed with her had he not had that charge where he got in trouble, which shows me he's a menace and he doesn't care about himself. And he caught a charge while having children, so he doesn't care. She says he caught a charge before he got with her or moved in with her. It's all the same. Still had those kids. Because allegedly, the baby mom's been gone 2 years. The charge is under 2 years. I found it interesting when Miss Sherrod says in the Daily Mail article to Darryinn, if indeed she did say this to him, I don't want you. She didn't say, I don't want you around my kids. That's what they quoted. Was there some hanky-panky going on with you, Miss Sherrod and Darryinn? I don't want you. Oops, you meant to say, I don't want you around my children. You're a bad influence. You stay in trouble. Monica Sherrod, have you been having an affair with a child? Do you actually know Darryinn Brown? Have you had physical relationships, sexual relationships, drug-related relationships, something illicit with Mr. Darryinn Brown? Do you know that he's mentally incapable, has a developmental problem? Does he have a developmental problem? What are his mental issues? What are they? Will we hear them anytime soon? Did you kill Cash Gernon, Miss Sherrod? Did your son Cameron kill Cash Gernon? Did someone else in your house aid in the death of Cash Gernon? Did you all set up Darryinn Brown? The fact that you mentioned your children taken by the state again and fostered with two of your other children speaks volumes. You're unfit, you've been unfit, and you had no business raising your own, nor did you have the rights to Cash and Carter Gernon. You had no right. Did he ruin anybody? And that's the spoken word. Maybe to Trevor, you are a nice person, but anybody getting high on narcotics does not need to be watching children, aiding children, carrying children in their womb, burping children, watching them, babysitting, working with them. It's all the same. Hell no. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to Trevor Gurnon's apology to his baby mother, the world, I am assuming. And who is Darryinn Brown? What is his role in this mess pertaining to this dead child? Is he indeed just a kidnapper, a petty thief, or is he all of the above? Petty thief, kidnapper, and murderer. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. Thank you so very much. Thank the mods that came on board. Sorry about the last live. I apologize to all of you. Give me your opinion pertaining to this situation, because it's indeed a fine mess. Out of control. Maybe that's why he was sneaking over. Oh, to mess with her? Possibly. Very sad. Very, oops, sorry. Very sad if a woman is messing around with an 18-year-old anyway. What are you gaining from being with him? Exactly what would you be gaining? messing with a kid. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to Trevor Gernon's tricky name. Apology, is it genuine? Or is just something to be doing to get attention? Because he doesn't want to get caught, he doesn't want to go to jail. As someone said on another channel, you're just whining for nothing. You've gotten caught with your tail between your legs. That's basically it. You're worried about going to jail and getting beat up by people who know that you are the father of the said children. But you don't care anything about those kids. That's obvious. Now to sit up and make some phony apology about she's a good girl, she's a nice girl, my intentions were good, the kids needed somebody to play with. Well, which is it? They needed a house, a home, or somebody to play with. Because it can't be both. The twins have each other, so they didn't have to have anybody to play with just of yet. What they needed was a stable environment, clean clothes, clean house, a parent that works, a parent that loves them, a parent that's going to spend time with them, running water, heat, air conditioning, beds to sleep in, separate beds to sleep in. Thank you, Air Force. Yes. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to this apology that has been rendered by the biological father of the decedent child and Carter Gernon. So many questions. And who is Darryinn Brown? Is he a creeper, petty thief, and murderer? Did he kill Cash Gernon on May 15th? Has he been going over to the said house as a charade for some time? How long has he known them? How long has he been going over to the house? Has he had sexual relations with Miss Sherrod? Is this a drug-related situation? Did they owe him money? Is he mentally stable and knows what he's doing as far as vandalism, theft? What was he being treated for by Metro Services? How long has he been running around the neighborhood stealing from people? There's also rumors on another channel that neighbors are confirming that there was a relationship with Miss Sherrod and Darryinn Brown. Shut your mouth. Are these allegations true? Who are the witnesses? Will they come forward? Will they testify that yes, she has been sleeping with a child? Has this been going on while he was underage? Was Cash being molested? Rumors are going amok. As I said, I try not to feed off those he said, she said, because those are damning allegations, such as being accused of murder. So now we're talking about murder, kidnapping, and molesting a child. Was the child being molested inside the Sherrod home? Who is the culprit, and or plural? Are there more culprits? Was he being touched? Was his brother Carter being touched? Since someone throwing it out there. But as I state, those are horrible allegations to put on the head of a man or a woman. The dad took more time making that video than he spent. Well, that's the whole point. Miss Doodle, Mr. Doodle, he's never cared. All he's talked about is himself. Going to jail, going to jail, going to rehab. Like I said, if he really wanted to better himself, he would have stayed out of trouble. He wouldn't have caught this last charge. He wouldn't be on the run. He would have never left his children with Miss Sherrod. Miss Sherrod had 4 kids of her own. What made him think she needed 2 more children? If he wanted to date a woman, he should have dated a single woman with a job, a career, and one that does not partake in opiates and narcotics. How about that? A woman that doesn't use drugs. What is the fascination with drugs? It's a mystery to me. And as I state, going to Facebook, YouTube, to air your laundry and your commentary to me is low rent. It's not the place to give commentary about a child or your feelings pertaining to your dead child and your living child. Go to the news and tell them you're sorry, you made a mistake. As I state, how does Miss Brown feel about her son being in that video taking the child? Does she even believe it, or she's just saying she don't believe it? Was he actually home all weekend? How does the stepfather feel about the video of him taking the child? How do they feel about him peeping around the said neighbor's fence, peeping into that? That's been released. How do they feel about that? Have they had complaints about the child? What type of child was he growing up? What mental disabilities does he have? Is this just an issue of a child who was neglected himself and wasn't properly reared? That's why he's acting out, doing these things, breaking and entering, vandalizing people's properties because he's a spoiled brat. Could it be he's just a spoiled brat? He didn't get the attention he needed. Not necessarily mentally handicapped, but just neglected. What is the truth? Or does Miss Brown know her child is a menace? That he's sick and is capable of murder? What does Miss Brown and her husband know about Darryinn Brown? Who is Darryinn Brown? Hit the link if you want to give your commentary. Thanks for joining me. Brown bonded out of jail April 28th. His mother knows. Thank you all for joining me. As I state, a lot of information has come out with this apology. Mr. Trevor apologizing to the mother, the world, about his mistakes, bad judgment. But as I state, he only seems to be more concerned about himself, in my opinion. He only seems to be concerned about himself. Because, see, it was the concern for himself is what got him on the run and left his children behind. And no sane person would just leave their children behind with a person who gets high on drugs. Just because you want to avoid a drug charge and going to jail for a drug charge. So you see, you don't care about your kids because in the end, you never cared about yourself. You see, self is first. And if you don't care about yourself, there's no way in hell you can care about anybody else, be it your child, your mother, family member, friend, lover, spouse. It's all the same. Self is first. But it makes it sound like you just got back from failed job search and was in Dallas. Can anyone clear up that timeline? That timeline, TK, is probably last year before he even moved in with Miss Sherrod, because the children were staying with her before they officially moved in February. And when the father moved in, she said in the Daily Mail, she'd been taking care of the children periodically without the father being present. So he left his children with her even before he officially moved in with her. He probably was out in the street running around doing God knows what. The reason he has a drug charge now that he's running away from. And as you see, Miss Sherrod looks like she's high on dope in the Daily Mail's interview of the tour of the house. She looks messed up. Hello, Jackie. Thank you all for joining me. This is a sick situation. The children didn't stand a chance. And if you've noticed in all these cases that you hear of children missing, badly abused, neglected, and murdered, you always hear the worst scenarios with their parents and their guardians. You always hear issues about drugs, alcohol, former CPS visits, former calls to CPS, former situations where the children were removed from the house and then given back to the same dirty parents, and then now they're missing and or dead. So this case is the same. Missing in action parents, kids moving around from place to place, sleeping in different people's homes and couches, which I don't condone, period. Miss Sherrod did not have a stable environment because her own kids had been taken out of custody, and I brought you all that information in my last live that got disrupted. But if you need verification for those stories, New York Post, Independent, and the Daily Mail are the sources. Her kids were taken before. So now they've been taken again due to this death of this child who she had possession of. Hit the link if you want to give your commentary. Oh well. Do not know what's going on with Darryinn Brown, why he has been a menace in the neighborhood, stalking these people, bothering these people, peering through gates and things. I don't know if it's just that he's that mentally ill and sick, that he has a fascination or impulse control with breaking and entering, vandalism, peering in windows, this and that, whatever the hell he's been doing. Like I said, what was the necessary steps that people took? Because obviously nothing was done. How long has this behavior been going on with Darryinn Brown? How long has he been peering, peeping, vandalizing property? What is his relationship to Miss Sherrod? What is his relationship with all of her children? How long has he been knowing these people, visiting these people? Was he going to the house to play with just the children? Who let him in the day he went to the house? Days before the kidnapping of the child. Who let Darryinn Brown in the house? Or am I to believe Darryinn Brown just walked into the house? Are we talking about a child who knows better and he's just brazen and doesn't give a damn? What are we saying? What are we saying about Darryinn Brown? How many offenses does he have on the record? As you know, anything under 18 is sealed by the courts. So has he been committing other major crimes? Dealing with children, felonious behavior, sexual behavior, rape, sexual assault. Who is he? Has he been having an affair with Monica Sherrod? Rumors going around. Sometimes I believe that people just come up with stuff because they can't figure out the case because they don't know anything. So they just start throwing things out there. Before you know it, Peter, Paul, Joe, Dick, Mary passes it along. And now people are wondering, oh, well, did they have an affair? Oh, I hear they were messing around. Oh, I hear somebody was molested. Oh, I hear the child was molested. You don't know what to think. And as I state, Mr. Rod's father should not be on social media giving any public commentary pertaining to any felonious rumors about children because it's low rent. How are you helping your daughter by passing rumors that somebody was molesting Cash? Because if indeed Darryinn didn't know him, then how could he be the one accused? So then who the hell are you talking about? Your daughter? Your grandchildren? Who are you speaking of? No, not Mother of the Year at all. I don't know about a press conference. They only get press conferences when they have information, dear. Only when they have updates and arrests, new charges. That's when you get a press conference. Thank you all for joining. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129. All super chats are welcome during the live. Thank you all so very much for your time. I'm not going to hold you. It's 38 minutes in. Sorry for the last interruption, but I wanted to bring you this said commentary that Trevor gave a statement uploaded to his sister's YouTube channel, apologizing to the baby mother. And as I stated, he seems more concerned about himself in that said commentary. There's now new footage of Darryinn Brown peeping around in the same neighborhood where the child went missing. There's now uploaded material, visuals to the eye of him trying to peek through a neighbor's fence, which neighbors Miss Sherrod's home. And then I also brought you commentary pertaining to a weapon that was seized from Mr. Brown's home, a pocket knife, small pocket knife, tissue paper with drops of blood, And naturally, that information has been taken for analysis. And that's probably what they're waiting on right now. That same pocket knife, tissue paper, and blood. Is it indeed from Cash Gernon? I made a discrepancy by saying that was found at Miss Sherrod's house. It was not. That said tissue paper, knife, and blood was found at Darryinn Brown's home in a bathroom, if I'm not mistaken. And as I state, what does his mother know about his activities, roaming the street, getting into trouble? Have people been following her, bothering her, telling her about her son, calling her? Has the police been to her home before for these allegations? What has the neighborhood done? What have the neighbors done pertaining to Darryinn Brown's behavior? Have they called the police, filed a report? What does he have on his record pertaining to theft, assault, felonious behavior, sexual assault, anything, child molestation, anything? Is he actually mentally incapable? Does he have the attitude mindset of a 4-year-old, 8-year-old? Has he been going over to the house playing with these said children? Has he been talking to Cameron, friends with Cameron? Is it just is his brother that's a friend of Cameron's or a friend of a friend? Or is he the type he just walks into people's houses and take the hell over? And people are lying scared of a tall black man walking through their house. Or was he set up by Miss Sherrod and her children? They got rid of the kid, they got tired of the kid, so they used somebody who they thought was mentally slow, developmentally slow, and used him as a scapegoat in that said video where we see him on film in color. Because he looked comfortable to me. Now, some people with different opinion and say he looked scared. I didn't see fear in his eyes, or let's just say his demeanor, his body movement. I didn't see fear in his body movement in the color video because he touched the child's head, turned back around. Did he mumble something, say something? I don't know. If I believe the audio that's been uploaded to YouTube by different people that he was talking to himself, I don't know who he was talking to. I don't know. If he was talking to himself in that video, if there are other parties in the room that day. But I do not believe he was trying to take the child, only because I believe if he wanted to take the child, he would have done so because he had done it already. So what is the problem with him taking child number 2? You're already in the damn house 2 hours later. I tell you all, stay woke. He has entered this house in dark, allegedly took a child out, returns 2 hours later. So what would be the problem with him taking Carter out of there? And where might he be taking Carter? Because if we are to believe that Darryinn Brown is the person that kidnapped the child and also murdered the child, where did he kill the child? How did he get the child 8 blocks down the road? Car, wagon, big wheel, bicycle? Because I know he didn't carry him. Where did he allegedly kill Cash Gernon? If we are to believe he is guilty of murder. And all this mess with this house, I'm going to say this and I'm going to check out of here. Rewatching the video thoroughly of the tour of the Daily Mail visiting Miss Sherrod's home, the house was unkempt, the house was cluttered, and it was not a place for children or a dog, monkey, cat, goat, anything. It was hideous to me. And the fact that a woman would take 2 children into that house or anybody's child is baffling and disgusting. The fact that you put 2 children in a big old room, makeshift room, it's ridiculous. And to say you care for them, it's not true. Because had you cared for them, Mr. Rob, they would have either slept in your room in the baby bed or in a room adjoining yours or next to yours. And the fact that you cried and moaned about having this information on camera pertaining to Darryinn on video, well, You couldn't be too concerned about theft in the neighborhood because why didn't you have an alarm on your house? Where is the alarm on your house? I'll wait. Allegedly, there are people breaking into your houses and cars in your neighborhood, but yet you don't have an alarm on your house. That's first and foremost. You never got the latch fixed on the garage door. Why is that? Common sense should tell you if the garage door is messed up, then a person can easily come through that garage and then enter the house. Okay, number three, why don't you have a secure door entering the house from the garage? One begats another. No alarm, no secure garage door, no secure door from the garage to lead into the house. Why is that? Because possibly your priorities are jacked up. You care more about doing some other frivolous behavior, such as getting high, because you were high during that video. You were on something. What exactly? I don't know. But your eyes were bulging. You all were grinning. Somebody else made a commentary about that on another channel. What was so funny during that interview with the Daily Mail? What were you all grinning about? What's so funny? Child's dead. Child's dead. And now we have rumors that allegedly the bio mom doesn't want you to come to the funeral. And as I told you all days ago, I do not have any confirmation of a said service date for the child. But when I get that information, I will bring it to you. This is a baffling story of he said, she said, innuendos, assumptions, narratives, gossip, heinous, felonious behavior on parts of the parents. The door's responsibility of the landlord property owner. Well, OG Boswell, Boss Gal, we don't have confirmation of who owned the house, as I state. Like I told people, I don't know if she's renting. I don't know if she's on HUD, Section 8. It's her mama's house, sister's house, grandmama's house. I don't know because nobody's told me. So I can't say who's responsible for a door because it's never been revealed who even owned the house. We just know she lived there with her children. No confirmation has ever been given about who actually owns the house present day. This is my information pertaining to Trevor Gernon giving a public apology through a YouTube account. You either believe it or you don't, but I believe he failed his children royally. And I do believe he should be charged with abandonment and neglect of children and subjecting his children to a dangerous environment, which is an unsafe house, unkempt house, and a woman who was, I believe, using narcotics while taking care of his said children. And his ownership and abandoning his children. Yes, Crystal. I thought about that too. Damage to the door. Oh, damage. Yes. The house is nasty and filthy anyway. So you want me to believe somebody just came in and tore open a door when your house is already unkempt and disgusting looking? Stay woke. But as I state, apology given. He's revealed he has a past, breaking the law, past issues with drugs, charges. So as I state, he had no business raising children, procreating, he or his baby's mother. Allegedly, she dropped him off at his grandmother's house, if that is true, when he just got out of jail. So everybody was passing the buck to somebody else. And now one child is left and he's back allegedly with she or her mother. I do not know if that's true or not, but I don't even know if they should have the kids, and I'm just going to keep it real. Because one thing I think you all didn't realize, and this is something what happens when you hear stories and versions, you don't think of things at the time. So you have to chop up every little thing a person says. You have to really be tedious. If indeed it is true that the bio mother dropped the children off with Trevor when he first got out of jail, maybe she just wanted to check out of being a mother. She was tired. Why didn't she take him to her mother? I'll wait. But y'all didn't think of that. That just crossed my mind sitting here. Why in the hell would you take your children to the father who you know just got out of jail, probably didn't have a job, car, anything? Why didn't you take them to Connie Ward? So now I'm to believe, fast forward 2 years later, one child's bludgeoned to death. The other one is to go to someone's house to live. And the article is saying that you and Connie Ward have Carter, but yet you didn't think of Connie Ward when you decided to drop the kids off at Mr. Trevor's grandmother's house, allegedly. If she cared that much for the boys, then why didn't the older son take that room? And the boys could have been in a room closer to her. Yes, indeed, that is true. And then we hear that the children, nobody heard anything because he said that walking through the house. Cameron, I can't believe we didn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything if you were aiding him to get the kids out of there in the first place. As some people are stating. Some people do believe that Darryinn Brown took the child out, possibly killed the child, but he had help either way, either with the kidnapping or the kidnapping and the murder of the child. Everything is up for interpretation because we don't have video surveillance of an actual murder of the children. But something happened to the child. We do know this already. The child was bludgeoned. Some of you believe it's personal. But as I've told many of you, there are many cases of people being bludgeoned to death by a knife, and the suspect didn't know the victim. There are people who have been stabbed up to 30-something times, and the suspect never knew the victim, never met them, never talked to them, never dated them, wasn't related to them. They killed them because they could. Their method was a knife. Some people's method is strangulation. Some people's method is the gun. To each his own. Diddy shows his face on YouTube channel. I don't know, Crystal. I just heard audio played on this other guy's channel. Dogs in the house, no barking. Yes, and we'll mention that as well. Allegedly, she had dogs. So you all are saying that you didn't hear any dogs barking. But would you be hearing the dogs barking? Because I didn't hear any audio when he was in that room taking the child. As I said, someone was playing music over their video. So I don't know what was going on in the background. And I find it interesting that he was on the heels of Carter going into that room, if we are to believe that is actual time, because there is no time stamp. Crystal believed that the video was cut. She mentioned that to me earlier yesterday. Perhaps. Don't know. Cameron gave a tour of the house like he was on MTV Cribs or something. Then he told how Darryinn left the house with cash. How would he know that unless he was with them? Okay, Crystal, he posted on Susan's Facebook page, audio only. Okay, Gen X, thank you. Okay, so I didn't hear that, Corliss. Darryinn left the house with cash. How would he know? Well, he's assuming that because he's on video, picking the child up and then walking out with him. So he's assuming he had them left with him because the child was not found in the house, and then the child was found down the road dead. That's his assumption. Yes, it's a head scratcher indeed. The time of Carter getting into bed, then he comes in. Yes, and we also have to ask ourselves that, where was Carter coming from? And we can go on and on for hours, chopping up each segment of the video, commentary from Mr. Rod, commentary from Trevor, commentary later from the mother, commentary from Cameron. Where was Carter coming from when he got in that toddler's bed? Because if we are to believe that Mr. Darryinn was on the heels of him coming in that room, that means Carter was not asleep when his brother Cash was abducted. And that's even more devastating to know a child could have been watching or listening someone take their sibling, twin, out of the cover's bed alongside them. Thank you all for joining me. As I state, this is a baffling story. There are a lot of innuendos and hype and gossip pertaining to Trevor, Gernon, father, gossip pertaining to the mother, her relationship with Trevor, gossip pertaining to Mr. Rod, her relationship with Darryinn Brown, her drug use, CPS being involved in her life, taking her children away, first time, now again, drug use, past criminal history, felonious acts, possessions of narcotics, unkempt house. Where are her children's father? How about that? No one ever thought to ask that? Since everyone likes pulling out skeletons. Where is the father or fathers of her 4 children? Why is she not married? Where are her baby daddies or baby daddy? What does he think of the situation? What does her parents think of the situation? With Cash being murdered, now her children being removed out of her custody. What does her family think? Since her father so kindly went to Facebook to tell us that Cash has been molested. Well, if you're going to tell us that Cash has been molested, then drop a name, sir, or keep your mouth closed. Well, Crystal, you haven't hit the link. I'm about to check out of here. So if you're going to say something, you need to hit the link here. Her husband is deceased. Well, if you want to hit the link, Crystal, hit the link. Well, I wonder, how did he pass away? Then, of course, there were rumors that Trevor was missing in action. Remember? That he was dead. Well, now you see he's giving commentary on his sister's YouTube channel. We gotta believe he is the actual father. See what happens when you start rumors? Oh, he may be dead. She may have killed him. They may have killed the father. Blah, blah, blah. And then he decided to come out and speak. But he sure as hell didn't turn himself in. So much for hide and go seek. Hello?
Hello.
Well, how are you, dear?
Just getting off of work.
Okay, well, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. A little late. I got a little
Yeah.
Wi-Fi issue that went on earlier, and I was like, "Wow, this thing just." I don't know, that computer just, she doesn't do well
Mm-hmm.
with that Wi-Fi here, so I don't know. Go ahead. I'm gonna move around a little bit, and I'll let you have it because you had a lot you wanted to add, 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 mention. So I'm going to let you have the floor with your commentary and your questions pertaining to the kidnapping and murder of Cash Gernon, the apology, and who is Darryinn Brown. Go ahead.
Okay, so watching the video over and over and over again, the interview
Okay.
of Monica and Cameron. I mean, not
Okay.
Cameron. Yeah, Cameron.
Hmm.
Okay, so all on this is all on the same video on her interview. Um, First she says that because the person that was interviewing her asked her, well, what happened? So she's saying, oh, I slept in late, this and that, yada, yada, yada. She said, my son is the one who came. So her son, she said that her son came in and woke her up and told her that Cash was missing. He said that he went into the room, he asked Carter, where's Cash? Carter replied, saying he went outside.
Yeah.
Then in that same interview, a little bit later, a few minutes later on, she said the 911, she called 911 and said she couldn't find Cash.
Hmm.
They asked her, well, when did you notice he was missing?
Hmm.
She replied, immediately. She said, immediately when Carter woke me up.
Okay.
So that's not, yeah, that don't sound right.
Okay.
Um, and then if that's the case, if she says that her son is the one that went in there and asked Carter where Cash was at, where's that video at?
Hmm.
Where's that doesn't show him going in there asking Carter anything? So, and then when Cameron is walking through the house saying, okay, so first it's the garage. He says the garage doesn't lock or whatever. Then when he goes to the garage door that enters into the house, he first says, this is where it was kicked in. And then he said, I mean, tampered. But it looks old. It looks like it's old. It's been messed up. And then he walks through the living room. He walks through the kitchen. And then you see all that mess and stuff. And then he slides the door open. And then you see where the boys slept. So my thing is, they didn't hear any of that. None of that. And he said, oh, it was quiet. He said it was quiet. I don't know why we didn't hear. Well, if it's quiet, you sure gonna hear somebody kick the door in. I mean, that's just, you're gonna, or your dogs are gonna hear. Wasn't no dogs barking or nothing.
Well, if you're in deep sleep, are you going to hear somebody breaking in on the other side of the house? Probably not.
If you don't hear it, your dogs are gonna hear it. Especially if you have what was it, 3 or 4 dogs? One of those dogs is gonna hear something, and they're gonna bark.
In the fence where they couldn't get to Darryinn, is what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, because I tell you, I have a big house. My dogs, I got 3 pit bulls in the backyard. If you come knocking on my front door, my dog's in my backyard, they're gonna bark. You can walk up to one of the cars in front of my house. My dogs are gonna bark if they hear something.
Okay.
So I just
remember what time of day it is though. It's still 4:58, 4:50 something. This person's lurking around. If people are in deep sleep, are they going to hear the dogs barking? Is everybody going to wake up because the dog is barking?
At least one person is going to wake up. If you got 3 dogs in the backyard, pit bulls, I got 3 pit bulls.
So what I'm saying is, how he entered the house, would the dogs have seen or detected it? He has to think about all that type of stuff.
So them dogs must have known him then, for them not to bark.
Yeah, but I was just saying, where is the location of the dogs versus where he broke in and mentioned?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then on the video, you can tell that the video is cut. If you look at the video, the blanket that the black and white, in the black and white video and in the color picture. Okay. That blanket in the black and white, it's positioned different. And you see Cash's head in the corner. Okay. All of a sudden, the video, it flashes and you see only a small part of his head, as if he was covered. But before that, you don't see him moving. You don't see you don't see Carter moving to where they're moving, moving the blanket. You get what I'm saying? Like you can tell that there's a part in there that's cut. It flashes. Okay. And you see the blanket, one part in the beginning, the blanket has like little polka dots or something like that on the side. But when the camera or whatever, when it flashes, those little polka dots stuff, you don't see them anymore. And it's not as low on the bed as it was in the beginning. So you know that blanket was moved. Okay.
Let me mention something else that I noticed. I didn't mention this, but I got thrown off with my last slide and forgot some things I wanted to mention to y'all. Someone sent me a photo earlier of a picture of, I guess, Cash playing on the floor. There's a little miniature camera on that white wall beside that armoire. Mm-hmm. Why would you put a camera down low? For what reason? So am I to believe Darryinn was looking down at that camera during the dark? Well, let's be truthful. During the dark, you wouldn't even notice that camera because it's all the way almost to the floor. Mm-hmm. It's attached way down.
Yeah. The wall. It's not even. I'd say it's a foot off. It's maybe a foot and a half from the floor.
So what camera, if you're to believe that he kept looking over at the camera, if that was him in the first video,
Mm-hmm.
What was he looking at? That little camera? Because I can't believe in the dark you would even notice that. If I was walking in a room in the dark, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I'd notice it, unless I knew it was there. And,
Yes.
and does it look like he's looking downward or at eye level? You get my drift? Because he is a tall person.
Yeah. So and then in Cameron's statement, he's saying, "Oh yeah, the camera was right there." But the way that he did the interview was more like an alibi or trying to make excuses for the situation more than a
Yes.
statement to me,
Okay.
because he was giving way too much detail. How does he know that that's the way that he went back out? I mean, I don't get that part.
Well, I guess he left the way he came.
He left the way that he came in.
Yeah.
Okay, so and in the color picture, people are saying, "Oh, he went back to go get the to go get Carter, but he got freaked out or whatever." Okay, well there was a door right there, the side door. Why didn't he go out the side door? You mean to tell me he got freaked out? He heard something and possibly somebody was up in the house, and he went back through the house to get out? He could have just went right through that door.
The one that's in the kids' room.
Yes.
That's why we need to see how the house is laid out during the daylight time. Because, I just watched him, the man follow through, but I need to see the whole layout, where that door goes to versus the room that he brought the guy through the glass door. He went through one room, kitchen, glass door, then that room.
Mm-hmm.
I already was set up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Where does that door go? That's right across from that armor on the kid's bedroom. Where does that lead to?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do we know?
Yeah. So myself, I believe that he had help.
Okay.
And I believe that the police know that he had help, and that's why the murder charges are not on him yet.
Okay. Because I figured I just thought about that when, like I said, when I made the mistake of saying the weapon was found at Miss Sherrod's house, it was not. It was found at Darrynn's house, the knife and the tissue, small blood droplets. Obviously, that's what they're waiting on, I'm sure, unless they've got something else they have not revealed, which it could be.
Yeah.
Other evidence not revealed to the public.
Yeah, and I think they should have possibly taken that blanket as well, because in the black and white and in the color picture, both people touched that blanket. They should have took that blanket for DNA.
Especially if we get accusations of child molestation.
Yes.
But as I said, we don't see any of that going on in the video. Just what they gave. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
What they gave.
My thing is that they rushed to get this video out to show, oh yeah, he was there, but then they don't show the part where and another thing, Cameron said, oh yeah, we have cameras all around the house. Okay, yes. So why are we only just seeing that one camera? Why not all of them?
That's another thing as well. That's why I say you can bring up 1,001 things pertaining to this case. Where's the other footage of the house? Where are the other cameras?
Yeah.
Where are the other cameras positioned in and around the house? Where's the footage of him coming and going in the house? Do you have footage, Miss Sherrod, of Darryinn entering into the house and or the hallways and or leaving that said bedroom?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There we go.
And then so they're saying that the garage door, we use a chain to lock it and this and that. So that night they didn't lock it.
Ghetto fabulous.
That night they just didn't lock it that night. Okay. My thing is when she said two different statements, she said, like I said, she said Cameron woke her up and said, Cash is missing, da da da. I walked in there, asked Carter, and he said he was outside. But then she turns around and says, the 911 operator asked her, okay, when did you notice that he was missing, and she says, "Oh, immediately when Carter wakes me up."
Right.
So was it Cameron that woke you up, or was it Carter that woke you up?
Yeah, because that's conflicting. Yes.
Yeah, and
I
it's
want to talk
straight
about what
out
Miss
her
DD
mouth.
said. Why didn't he leave out that door when he picked up cash? Which door did he leave out of? Because we don't know, do we?
No. Well, from what Cameron's saying, oh yeah, he walked out the same way that he came in.
Well, let me ask you something.
Mm-mm.
Because I can't remember since last night. When the interview started with the Daily Mail, which door was that he started the interview in? Front door or what? Or from the garage?
From the video that I
he
seen, he was in the garage because he like lifts the garage up. He's like, as you could, because he slides it down and up, and he says, as you can see, the latch is broke on here, and we have to use a chain.
Okay.
He's in the garage. Yeah.
Somebody said, so he opened all these doors while carrying the child like he did. Right, Esther, good point.
And then leaves and comes
back. If you had a hard
back.
time lifting it up, he would have had a hard time with a baby.
Yes.
Very good point. Very good point, Esther. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then he leaves, and then he comes back. Yeah. There's
Doodle.
there's footage.
That is right. How he passed them off is like a child with a dirty diaper. Here, take them. I don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you pick up a child. Unless, like I said, he's not familiar with children, but let his mother tell it. He takes care of children.
And if that's the case, if Cameron's talking about Carter said that cash went outside. Yeah. Well, then why didn't he say cash went outside with this person? Just said he went outside. No. And why was he still? So he was asleep then. He was still asleep when the second video comes on. I thought he was up. That's what Cameron was like. Yeah, that he had woke him up and asked him where Cash was at. So it's just too many where
was Carter coming from?
Too many questions, too many holes in this story.
Where was Carter coming from that night?
Right.
At 4 something, almost 5 in the morning. Let's think about that, because that was late. So where was the baby coming from? Did he go to the bathroom? So that's even more creepy. This man coming to take a child, and he just walked on the heels of Carter getting in the bed. Pretty wicked.
Yep. And right when he's getting in the bed is where you see the blanket like halfway past the bar on the bed, and then you see a flash, and that blanket is moved. That blanket is it's moved. And you don't see Cash's head anymore. You only see a little part of it.
Well, now that has a good point. Working, latches not working, doors ain't working, Jimmy doors, nobody saw nothing, heard nothing. And he came back 2 hours later during the day, like he stayed there. That's where it gets baffling. You came back 2 hours later, like you stay there, or you own something, or you lost something. Yeah.
Because how you gonna go back 2 hours? How are you gonna go back 2 hours later and go in the house the same way that you?
Wouldn't you be tired? After all you done, wouldn't you be tired?
Yep. Yep.
If you kill that boy, and let's say you doing shit by foot, excuse my language, you ought to be exhausted.
Yeah. He for sure was there more than what they're saying, because they trying to act like, oh yeah, I knew him in high school, but that was it, and he came over that one time, and my mom told him, to leave or whatever she said. No, he's been in there more than one time.
Why did anyone see him when he came back? Surely they were awake by then, 7 o'clock. Well, it's the weekend, remember? Nobody's up early on Saturdays.
But then again, you still have the footage of supposedly Cameron going in there talking to Carter. There should be a video in between that black and white video and the color video. There should be a video in between there showing Cameron going in there talking to Carter. If that video was continuous, that's why I'm saying it's cut.
And that's the problem. We don't know.
Yep.
We haven't a clue because we didn't get a time stamp of where it's rolling the time. At 4:52, we see somebody walking into a room, and then next thing we see is 7 something, somebody re-entering a room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very baffling.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about her having her kids taken away from her before?
Well, that's a red flag right there.
Okay. And did he know about it, Trevor? Because he knew for 2 years, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he really know about her that he's maybe not admitting? Because is he going to tell us the truth? Hey, yeah, I met her getting high. She got high. We started getting high together. I also know her kids were taken from her, but I fooled with her anyway and risked my own children's safety by leaving them at her house for a while. And then I moved in with her. Then I found out I had a charge. You see, just 1,001 excuses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. And if the CPS, the police, and all that, if they didn't feel that there was any wrongdoings on their end, 100%, they wouldn't have taken her kids. There's something there.
They've been in your life before, and you hear she said, I had to sell everything, give it everything. I had to work hard to get them back. Well, look, don't you feel like a fool now that they gone again?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a damn fool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
why were they removed then? How long ago was then?
Mm-hmm.
It goes on and on with these people. That's why I keep trying to tell you all about these type of stories. It's always more to it than the versions they give. Now we're hearing discrepancies on who knew the guy, who was at the house. Your children were taken away from you. You got all these felonies from 2012 pertaining to possession of drugs. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just too much.
Yeah. And then
your kids.
Who is it? Her father that lives there at the house with her as well? That whoever the grandfather was or something that made that statement.
Her father. Hey, Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Corley has a very good comment. What if the camera footage was from 2 different days, then put together? Could be.
Mm-hmm.
You got somebody know how to do all that.
Yep.
I wonder if they try to get benefits for the kids. Well, she probably did. Remember I mentioned that to you all days ago. The kids got to go to the doctor. They got to eat. Did he leave an EBT card with you? Or did he even apply for any type of funds, medical, food stamps, anything for the children before he took off? Because the children have to eat. You got to remember she was taking care of 4 kids and herself. That's 5. He comes along, 6. Her 2 children, his 2 children, that's 8 people at one time was in that house. It's a lot of people. And naturally, she don't have a right to apply for nothing because she's not the legal guardian. It doesn't matter if somebody tell you, here, keep my kids, here's my food stamp card, here's their medical cards. Anything could jump off and they could be liable and go to jail for fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have anything in legal writing that they're a guardian of the children.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a biological mother. So you have to think about all that type of stuff. That's why I say we don't really know the relationship between Trevor and that baby mama.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. I'll be glad when they everybody's in jail that needs to be in jail.
Maybe some of these people are related to folks out in Cal City and Bakersfield.
No, you did not. Oh. Yeah.
They recently said the nanny camera have been recently purchased. Could be, honey. I wonder if Trevor views himself as a man or a lowlife. Well, he call himself crying. Everybody in the chat, tell me, do you believe those are real tears? Yes or no?
Who was crying?
Who was?
Trevor?
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't see him crying. You guys just
Well, I'm
heard
just
him
saying.
crying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sniffling.
Oh, like I could do that.
Like just a minute, that type of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Strange, the young son brings up the video on her phone and she acts like she didn't remember. Well, she said she was worried about her child.
Brings up the video on her phone and share.
Lakeisha says, I don't think he was crying. Tasha says no. Woo, not out. Stop. That was messed up. Oh my God. Y'all horrible.
Yeah, so your child goes missing and you totally forget. Okay, first of all, you put cameras in there because you're
for a reason. For a reason. Right. For a reason.
So and all of a sudden you forget that reason when your child goes missing.
I think that's just very interesting. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a reason to have a camera with your children, but still, something's still funny about this.
That's the first thing you're gonna do. You're gonna go to the camera. Any normal person would go straight to the camera to see. Even if somebody broke into your car, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go look at the camera to see who did it.
Yeah. True.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I didn't cry either.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? You think he knows better, Darryinn?
I hope that I hope that he speaks up. I hope that he tells everything that happened. That's what I hope. Everything from point A to point B, who planned what, and everything.
Well, not out. Who knows? But one thing begets another. Because something wasn't right with these people. That's why the child is dead. There's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I think he was because he knows more charges are coming his way. You think he was what, Dee?
$1 short on the day short.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. $1 short, dollar a day late. That I've been saying that yesterday. Indeed.
Yeah.
Because the point is still hiding. Why are you still hiding?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I fear for my safety. You weren't worried about your safety before your child was married. We got happy cops out here. You on the run, remember? Ting. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
This day and time, who would want to be on the run? A black man sure wouldn't want to be on the run in this day and time. Oops, I forgot.
Yeah.
Can make videos, can't raise his kids. Yeah, well, that part. That part. where is he filming, calling on the phone to his sister? Where was it?
Mm-hmm.
I love to hear that. Probably with another woman. Shut up, Andy. Did you hear that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How much you want to bet he with another female? You found one victim, you found another.
Still getting high,
What's out there?
strung out.
Yeah.
Yep. And Jennifer, I agree with you. How do we even know that it was him? That's why I was asking if that video, YouTube, whatever thing that if it showed his face, but everybody's saying that it was just audio.
Very good point. Very good point. Very good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You said it. How do we know? Indeed. See, that's the whole thing about these stories. You don't know anything. That's why I say you don't know what to believe. People start talking, assuming what they think happened. That's when you start getting all these innuendos of who did what.
Oh, Night Owl. Night Owl. Oh, that's a good catch. Night Owl, that's a good catch.
What she say?
Yep. Yep.
That
Now
meth
she
made
said
them say, forget those kids. Yeah. Well, we know.
no, what she say? Now Sherrod, okay, so Sherrod couldn't locate him to get his children, but the sister can get a phone call from him.
Well, he
Make
probably
that
heard
make sense.
on social media and stuff. You know, people do talk. People don't start watching Facebook and stuff just because they're on the run.
Yeah.
He's probably been watching Facebook.
But how convenient is that?
And you always got to remember, just because somebody on the run don't mean somebody don't know how to get a hold of.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm sure that he had her phone number as well and couldn't call.
But
so what happened to my child?
They've been keeping in contact.
Mm-hmm.
Before they was keeping in contact before the child went missing, dead, and all that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Just so happened the child dead. Well, now we call. Hey, gotta tell you, found your boy. I'm sure he was sick. Maybe not. Who's to say?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Marcella, I was thinking the same thing too. Like, because that house was not that house was nasty. I mean, it's you got to go through the maze to get where you're going.
Not a dog, billy goat, cat.
Yes.
I'm not getting ready to take a chimpanzee up a night.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Charlie.
Yep, and Air Force said yep, and didn't trip over one thing. He didn't. It was a maze to get in there and a maze to get out with a child. No. Mm-mm. He had help. He had help for sure.
Well, we will see what is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She dropped her kids off with him in Legend. This is a rumor. Don't know if it's true. He got out of jail, but she didn't take the take to her mama. You gonna take him to a father that just got out of jail. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
If you just tired of raising your kids. Very interesting.
So somebody's saying what?
Let me see. Hold this phone up here where I am.
He had to have had night vision glasses on.
I pray he got with CPS. Yeah, I hope that's where he is too. Even though we know how that ends up. CPS. Whole nother story with that. Excuse the noise.
Man, there should be reports stating that unless they didn't report it. Oh, that's another thing. So they find his body at was it 7? They found Cash's body at 7 something, but she didn't call the police until 11.
They went looking for him. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And they went outside and looked for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Went around the block or the street or something. But she let him look outside first. So that's what the baby told her he was, remember? He went outside. Remember that's what Carter told her.
Yeah.
So,
that's what Carter had supposedly told the son. And then the son says, yeah, I looked around, I went around the corner, and he said as soon as he seen the police and the tape and all that, he knew that it was Cash. How did he know it was Cash? He said that out his own mouth.
Wait. 8 blocks. Say what?
Yep.
There's no way I can see 8 blocks from here.
Mm-hmm.
If I go right now 1 block down, only time you can see 8 blocks, you got to be in a city where I swear everything flat. You can look straight down 8 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Say.
Yep. And it wasn't like it was 2 houses down from his house or anything like that. He actually went all the way 8 miles to the scene, and then that's where he said he knew that it was Cash then. Mm-mm.
I don't think you can see 8 blocks. 8 blocks mean you live somewhere where it ain't no trees, no nothing. Pure flat land. Like you in New York, Chicago, somewhere. And I don't know if I can just say I can see straight down 8 blocks to know the police. It's got something to do with my missing step brother. Especially when you're in a city where there's a lot of crime.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Cameron jealous of them babies.
Well, she sure was calling her, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Why she couldn't even remember she had a camera because of my babies.
Mm-hmm.
You're not thinking about nothing but your kids, your babies.
Mm-hmm.
My babies. Now, you know what this issue is? She starstruck over that man. Come on, Queen.
Mm.
You heard of them kind of women.
Mm-hmm.
They love your dirty draws, your kid draws, your mammy draws, everybody's. All because I like you. All because I still want you. I'm still in love with you. Ting. Bet you right now, does she still got feelings for Trevor? She tell you yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what this is. She starstruck. He done left her with his kids. And she's a good one to have kept them. Really. Even though she got all these issues that nobody knew about. She's a good one to have kept them. We just don't really know what all went on in the house. But, you know, people can put on a front that they were loving and this and that, but then we find out otherwise. Other stuff going on in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know people, like I said. You don't know what people are doing, how they treat children and other people, and what activities they're engaging in. But what you got to ask yourself, if she's still getting high and she ain't got no job, how is she getting the drugs? I tell y'all, say, well, who's to say this can't be something more to about that little boy? Maybe he got took off to some other kind of party, if you get my drift. I love about that human trafficking so much. Could this be something else sexual in nature with a little boy? Because what did I tell you? I've seen them stories. Mama said her daughter for a little hanky panky. Hate to be derogatory, but it happens.
Yep, it does happen.
Yeah, we don't know nothing about this lady. But like I said, if she's an addict, she's got to get high. So how she buying the drugs? She don't work nowhere.
Yeah.
So you gotta see, those are things ain't nobody really talking about. If she's an addict, how is she getting high? How is she buying the drugs? Though somebody already called her house a trap house. I said, damn, that's deep. Trap queen.
Oh.
1738. Dang, get me to start wrapping up in here. Wow.
Yeah, it's possible too.
Yeah, well, could be. That interview, she looked a hot mess. I said, dang, you ain't think to spruce yourself up? Somebody gonna say in the chat. Oh, she didn't have time. The Daily Mail from the UK do the math. Unless they got a subsidiary up in New York somewhere or LA, they flew over here from London. Stay woke. You can put your hair in a ponytail and put some lip gloss on. Ain't say you had to go out and buy that outfit. You can make yourself look like something. That's what leads me to believe she like that all the time. She don't care about herself. Why is that? Because her kids are damn near grown. All her kids. Her youngest is about what, 14, 13? So you got company coming to talk to you about this kid, you could at least look halfway presentable.
Yeah.
Come on now. They're gonna be filming you. Sound like you talking on audio. You being seen.
Yeah, I want to see more what the grandfather got to say. Because like Dee Dee said, why would the grandfather put in his statement sexual assault? Maybe he knew something was happening in that house.
Okay, but why you ain't gonna tell somebody? Why you repeating it on Facebook? Facebook's not the place for that type of allegation.
Yeah.
That baby dead. Let's show him some respect. And you still got a living brother. And somebody in the world possibly care about him that's related to him. Maybe didn't know all the intricate details of these people. But like I said, that was the mama at when she was dropping the kids off with Trevor.
Right.
Allegedly. 2 years ago or whatever. It's just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. Yep. Somebody helped him. I'm gonna stick with that. Somebody definitely helped him. It was planned out.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but what's the motive?
Mm.
You hear me?
Yeah.
What's the motive?
I don't know what the motive would be.
Huh?
The only motive that I see would be jealousy, and it's from that boy, Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
That's I can't see no other motive.
You can't.
Unless Darryinn was just so mad at her telling him not to come over or break it off with him or something,
Okay.
possibly, but still, I don't see what the motive would be to kill a little boy behind her. But I can see Cameron being jealous in this, being played out. I can see that. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah. We don't learn.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it'll all come to light. We just got to give it time. They got one in jail, and there'll be other ones following. That's what I think. Janet says, I heard he tried to kidnap a little girl a few weeks earlier.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I think that was rumors. I don't know if I believe that. So like I said, all this complaining about this boy. Why the hell something wasn't done sooner with all this breaking and entering and vandalism and shit? And everybody got cameras. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody ought to seen something where he could have been identified.
Right.
He's such a menace.
Right. Yep.
You know,
And
how much breaking and entering was he doing?
she had to clean up her statement when she said when she was more or less saying that she didn't know him. She had to clean up her mess. She had to clean it up because
Well,
everybody's
because
like,
somebody got cameras.
yep. And
That's
then
why they
everybody's
said
like,
there were people that came forward.
he's known in the neighborhood, so you can't say
Right.
that you don't know
Yeah.
him.
Right. So somebody that said it, and people got cameras.
Mm-hmm. So she
You don't know
cleaned
what
it. She
somebody done
cleaned it up.
seen.
Yeah.
You don't know what somebody done seen him coming and going out your house, coming in
Mm-hmm.
your yard, talking to your kids.
Yeah, she had to clean that one up. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about lying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't expecting all that. That's the whole point. You can tell one version, but you don't know who else got a bullseye view. Lie.
Mm-hmm.
On some sports now. On with all this now.
Your voice keep going out. Queen, we can't hear you. Oh, okay then. Let's see. OG, I think that it is on Facebook. It's on the father's Facebook, grandpa's Facebook.
Hear me now?
Yep, got you.
Yeah,
Yep, you
out of
got.
range. Out of range, honey. Ooh,
Oh,
Lord, you
okay.
can't do nothing in this place. Hey, I can't even get comfortable. Jeepers creepers. Okay. 1 hour and 45 minutes in. Anything else you want to say before I
No,
wind it up?
ma'am. Nope.
Well, you
That
all,
was it.
thank you all for joining me. This late live, and I'm gonna wind it up. Let's see. Night out says if CPS was checking on them, surely they would have known the boys were not hers and the dad had taken them. Well, you don't know. She can lie and say to anybody kids. Interview Cam said that his mom kept saying that it was her fault and was upset. And he has to tell her no, it was not. Wonder why she thought that. I wonder. Could be anything. What you got to remember about a story, you don't know what's truth and factual. You don't know what version somebody giving is factual. So just because somebody say one thing about my mama think this, or I thought this, or it was random, you don't really know what's the truth because people say anything. We don't know these people. And it's not to be nasty or throw shade that they did anything. It's just that people are watching you and they're watching how you carry yourself and how you talk and what you say and what you don't say. And that's how people start forming their opinions about a story and the people involved in the story. Do you really think a kid will go back in that house after he did a crime like that? That is not him in both videos. Okay, Tracy. Well, Tracy, you're right. That's why I say that's very bold to go double back. Why would anybody double back?
Right. Something
That's
like
just crazy.
that.
Not the same night. Not the same night.
Exactly. We cut what.
Only time I see you doing it is if you live there and you had to clean up something. That's it.
You gonna do within a 2 hour span. You're gonna go back to the crime scene. No.
Listen, not out. Teeth and tongue fall out. These folks are all lying. Good God, that's vicious, ain't the teeth and the tongue. Good God. What in the world? I wonder, what does that mean? Jeepers creepers. Like I said, the son was smiling during his whole TV interview from Duper's Delight. He was happy. He was duping everybody. Tracy, I said the same thing too. Because somebody else mentioned that on another channel yesterday evening. And I listened to their commentary and watched the interview again. And I said, yeah, she's snickering and grinning while the Daily Mail talking to her. And he's snickering and grinning. And I know people laugh sometimes when they're nervous. But you can't say you're so distraught and you all just doing all this snickering. It's just, it don't look good. Like I said, could be innocent, but it's how it looks. It's how it looks. Well, I thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129. All super chats are welcome during the live. When I get more information pertaining to this story, I will bring it to you. But as I brought you this information, it's just, once again, another baffling story of he said, she said, a dead child, one now with the mother and grandmother, allegedly. I hope that he is safe. He's in a safe environment because I hate to hear down the road another tragedy pertaining to this remaining twin. Who's all involved in this crime, I do not know, but it does not look good. Could it be that Miss Sherrod and her children are innocent of aiding this crime with Darryinn Brown? Yes, they could be innocent. Could Darryinn not have killed the child? Possibly. Do not know. We'll know from the forensics from that knife and blood found at his house on a tissue paper. What other evidence the state has, we will see. Was he lured there to be a scapegoat? Could be. What would be the motive to murder a 4-year-old? There's never a motive that's good enough, of course. But somebody killed the baby nonetheless. So why did they do it? And that's the main question. Why did somebody murder Cash Gernon? And for what reasons? Thank you, Lakeisha. Thank you so much. Yes, I hope he gets peace and justice. He's at peace because God got him now, honey. It's turning to madness. Yes, well, they all turn into madness. That's the sad thing. But we're going to pray that the truth is revealed, that all parties involved have knowledge of, during, before, thereafter, it is revealed. All parties. And I tell you all to be careful with believing said stories pertaining to true crime because you don't know what to believe and what is the truth. And we don't want to be spreading really horrible rumors about who said what, who did what, when we don't have facts of felonious behavior, sexual assaults, rape, because those are very heinous accusations to put on a person. And how they started, I do not know, but they're heinous nonetheless. And I just pray that none of those allegations are true because it's bad enough the child was bludgeoned to death, but to know possibly that he could have been sexually assaulted, that's even worse. Just as worse as the killing itself. Thank the mods for joining me. I thank you all for following. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments on the community post. Thank you, new subscribers, new viewers, for chiming in or just stopping by to view. I will bring you more information pertaining to this story when I get it. You all have a blessed week, and I will be back later this week. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you.